Welcome to the Employer Blueprint Podcast, where leaders can develop their skills for building more efficient businesses and high-performing teams. I'm your host, Kyle Gorman. Welcome to Season 3 of the Employer Blueprint Podcast. The next several episodes are going to be significantly different than anything we've done in the past. It's been a while. You haven't heard from us in several months now. But as we move forward into this next season or chapter in the Employer Blueprint Podcast, you're going to hear much more from me. The format will be much less formal. It will generally not be based on having a guest or doing some sort of interview, and will be shorter episodes. Basically, as we move into this new chapter of the podcast, it's going to be insights, observations, tips that I pick up through the course of the week or through the month as I'm meeting with clients, as I'm talking to peers, as I'm connecting with colleagues, and that I feel are going to be beneficial to share with you around business management, employee leadership, or any general observations as it may impact or benefit your business to be more effective, more efficient, and ultimately to help you thrive. As you may know, one of my big goals is to help business leaders gain freedom in business and in life. And we do that by implementing proper principles, using technologies that are around us, but most importantly, by developing high-performing teams that we can depend on. So as we move into this next chapter of the Employer Blueprint Podcast, just know that's more of what you're going to hear. And we did this based on the feedback that we got from you, our listeners. So I thank you wholeheartedly for all of the feedback, for all of the information, and for really encouraging us to continue the show. Certainly, if there are any topics you want to hear about, I want to know about it. I want to be able to research those things, find more information, and share them with you. And so if you have any feedback for us, if you have any questions for us, please don't ever hesitate to reach out. Before you leave, be sure to hit subscribe. And also make sure you check us out on the next episode, which will be the first episode of Chapter 3, where I'm going to talk just a bit about micromanagement and accountability with our employees. Again, thank you all so much for your support, and I look forward to this next season, this next chapter through the podcast. This week in particular, we're going to talk about micromanaging. And actually, what we're talking about is providing autonomy to your employees. But we're going to do this under the lens of micromanagement because, the opposite of autonomy is micromanagement. And what's interesting is, as business leaders, we tend to want to micromanage because we think that the only way for something to get done properly is for us to do it ourselves. Well, we have to relinquish that control and let other people do things if we want to be effective and scale. But yet, it's hard for us sometimes to really let go and give people control. So what we tend to do is we kind of give them half control. It's like we tell them, hey, I want you to do this, and I need you to take care of this project for me. But I'm also going to look over your shoulder every step of the way to make sure that you're doing it exactly the way that I want you to do it. Well, really, what you're communicating in that situation is that you don't really trust your employees. And one of the questions that I often ask whenever I'm speaking in front of audiences is just simply show of hands. Who loves to be micromanaged? And as you can imagine, the answer is no one. No one ever raises their hand for that. And yet, we somehow feel the need to micromanage others. Really doesn't make a lot of sense. But that's what we do. We do it consistently. And I believe it has to do with this kind of core just need for us as business leaders to be controlling, which is understandable. That's oftentimes how we got to where we are. We believe that success and failure lies on our shoulders. And in order for it to get done properly and to get done right, that's the only way that we can do it. I understand the challenge, but ultimately what you're going to do is you're going to run your employees away. No one wants to be micromanaged. You don't like to be micromanaged, and neither do they. So just stop. Give people proper expectations, help them understand exactly what needs to get done. In fact, maybe even give them the roadmap to say, this is how you get there. This is how you get it done. But then step away. Go focus on your own projects. And you know what? If you're caught up, enjoy the freedom that you were trying to get as a business owner to begin with. Go take a little time off. Take the afternoon off. Take the weekend off. But trust your team to do the job. The reality is, if we have the right accountability metrics in place, And if you have the right expectation set for your team, there is no need to ever micromanage them. So we learned this golden rule when we were in kindergarten, maybe even before. Treat others the way that you want to be treated. The question is, if you don't want to be micromanaged, why in the world would you be micromanaging others? Thanks for joining me this week on the Employer Blueprint Podcast. Be sure to subscribe to the show to receive the latest episodes. And if you would like to connect with me directly with questions or topics you would like to hear more about, you can find me on LinkedIn as Real Kyle Gorman. And until next time, make it a great day.